Real quick, let's talk about the first 3 years of Founder of the Day, specifically the most read articles. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff to take from this. So, number 10 is who was the last founding father? This was an article I published 3 years ago. Actually, I published it before I actually launched the website. So I'm really happy this one lands. I will be honest, it's not my favorite article in the world. I basically land on John Quincy Adams, which is super controversial because he's literally the son of a founder. I guess yeah. So sorry, read the article. Come argue with me about it. Number 9, the most recent one I published, Robert Townsend Takes His Secrets to the Grave, which is about Robert Townsend, who was part of the cult for Spy Ring, the man inside New York City. Now, you'll notice two themes. People who are in the TV show Turned and people who are in the play Hamilton. For example, Hercules Mulligan, Taylor's intelligence for the Continental Army. He was a major character in the first act of the play Hamilton. Also, technically, a ancillary character in the Spy Ring. And I just want to point out, Hercules Mulligan was a tailor. So when I say he tailors intelligence for the Continental Army, I'm very proud of that wordplay. Number 7, Tyranny of the Majority, Federalist number 51. Did this probably about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. Of all the Federalists, it's the only Federalist I reviewed that made it on here. I am not surprised number 51 is the most popular one about, as I said, tyranny of the majority. I am also pumped that it's the one Madison wrote and not one Hamilton wrote, because Hamilton wrote most of it and Hamilton gets all the credit nowadays. Number 6, and this one warms the cockles of my heart, Austin Rowe, Washington Spy on Horseback. Now, there's a problem with the title. Austin Rowe was a member of the cult for Spy Ring. His name is mentioned once in the show Turn. I say he was slandered because instead of giving him a character in the show Turn, like in the actual book, well, in the show Turn, Robert Rogers, the bad guy, uses the alias of Austin Rowe one time. And that is sad to me. Because Austin Rowe is the only American founder born in the hometown that I grew up in. I'm sorry, buried in the hometown I grew up in. So the fact that he's left out, he was always a favorite of mine because of that. The fact that he's left out is super sad. But I also call him Washington Spy on Horseback, but much like in the show Turn, he probably rode a horse sometimes, but he also probably took 2 horses with his carriage every once in a while, so it's kind of a crappy title. I wrote it a while ago, but I'm super pumped that people are looking into Austin Rowe. It makes me very happy. Number 5, The Colonist Complaints, 27 Reasons the Founders Declared Independence. All I did for this article a few 4th of Julys ago was I went through the Declaration of Independence and read the grievances and just typed them out in regular, everyday language. So I'm actually happy that people are really looking into that to the reason I wrote it, and I hope that people are looking into it for that reason, is to get a better understanding of the reasons, the many reasons, the 27 reasons they directly cite in the Declaration of Independence why we're throwing off the king. Number 4, George Eaker, 2 Duels in 2 Days. Now, I've spoken about George Eaker kind of frequently on this channel. He's the one who in Hamilton, he duels with Alexander Hamilton's son, Philip. What most people overlook, and why I'm glad people are reading my article, is that he dueled and killed Hamilton's son, Philip, the day after he dueled Philip's friend, Stephen Price. So 2 duels in a row, these 2 friends. No one died in that. The first duel, they just kind of fired a bunch of times. Number 3, I'm not surprised that I wrote this catchy title and people's sick minds really like it. Number 3 most read article on Founder of the Day ever is The Youngest American Ever Executed, Hannah O'Keefe. It's about a young girl with mental capacity problems, and I spoke about this the other day. She killed a young girl. She was like 12 or 13 and killed someone who was like 7 or 8. Tried to hide the body, but she was mentally not all together. And also a 13-year-old, so she did a terrible job covering her tracks, and she was actually hung. So, gross. Number 2, still morbid, Death of a President's Son, Charles Adams' Alcoholism. I wrote this about a year ago. This is probably the saddest article I've ever written. I have a quote in there from President John Adams, who was just about to lose the presidential election to Thomas Jefferson. Sitting President John Adams, about to lose an election to his best friend, and his son drinks himself to death. And there is a quote in there that I don't want you to read if you don't feel like being a sad sap for the rest of the day. Number 1, all time on my website. Let's Steal Their Cannons, The Hearts of Oak and Hamilton's First Taste of War. Now, Let's Steal Their Cannons, I did kind of rip directly from a lyric in the play Hamilton, because it's catchy, and I need to do a little clickbait to get people to read. But I wrote about the Hearts of Oak, and the Hearts of Oak were Alexander Hamilton and his college buddies, including Robert Troup and Hercules Mulligan, who actually wasn't his college buddy, was actually Hamilton had stayed in Mulligan's house. Mulligan was actually a lot older than Hamilton, so don't let the play trick you there. They weren't the same age friends. Mulligan was significantly older. But they all started on the college campus, militia, like college, and they drilled on the lawn of King's College, now Columbia, and they called their group the Hearts of Oak, and I write about that. So that is a super brief summation. Again, if you want to go in real detail, people asked me a bunch of questions. I answered a bunch of questions about my life in the video the other day. So you want to celebrate Founder of the Day? There's that.